Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Flash Page, powered by the Podcast Network. We have an awesome show scheduled for you today, and somebody's being noisy. Who's being noisy?
Yeah.
As always, Velvet Joker, how's it going, bud?
Hey guys, how's everyone doing tonight? I wanted to put a big smile on tonight since we're talking about the blue buffoon tonight.
And Drew, how's it going?
I'm fine.
Yeah. You seem so mellow, Mollo.
I don't know what to talk about. No, I'm just very quiet.
Jar.
Hey, I'm just sharing to the last of the groups. The beginning of this show is so much shorter than the other ones. You got to do something about that, Leo. I don't have enough time.
I know. I need to fix that because, I.
All right, there we go.
I didn't have time to do
that cool trailer that we had, Leo. What happened to that? We had this great cool trailer. It was like this animated trailer that you had made.
I needed to. I redid it to the one that we have now, but I can add it back in. I was
just curious.
Hey, Steven.
So creative, you know.
Yeah, it was. For you, Velvet, I will add it back in.
All right, I'll appreciate it.
Well, thank you. So, Jar, we have a special guest today.
We do. We have a friend of mine. I guess I can call him a friend. I hope I can call him a friend. We've known each other for years, from millions of cons and charity events and everything. He does one of these great novelty things that I think is really cool, because a lot of writers, you always have artists doing commissions. He actually does these little personalized horror stories on postcards for people. His name is Ben Goldsmith, the writer and creator of Seance Room, which has a Kickstarter going on right now for Volume 2, which you can check the show notes up above or down below. I'm not as good as Leo with that, so it's one of those two places. But yes, Ben.
Hi, guys. I think. Hey! All right,
Ben.
Leo, can you play my intro there? It's a 4.5 minute clip.
That'd be much better
if you could. No, actually, I think it's funny though that you said we know each other for charity events. calling yourself my friend is a charity event to me, that I could have more friends. So, hold
on, I'm the charity event. Or?
No, I'm the charity event.
Oh,
yes. So. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, so that I can plug the podcast. Go see the Dorkening. It's a great pod. Thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. You're welcome.
And just a reminder, the Kickstarter information is up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Should I give them the quick 1-2 on this one?
Yeah, totally.
Get it out of the way nice and early. Yeah, so Seance Room, for the people who haven't read it before, they're each one shots, kind of Tales from the Crypt meets Twilight Zone. And the first 4 issues were a lot of fun. They did really well, and we spent some time in between. I was working on some other stuff, did some stuff for Mad Cave Studios, and I got a book coming out with Black Caravan Scout with Alex CORMAC soon. And so I put a lot of stuff in it, but people kept asking, like, more Seance Room. So with this Kickstarter, we're doing 4 new issues, and burying the lead a little bit, one of those issues is a hat/crossover that Tim Seeley and I, that we put together. And then Ben Templesmith, of 30 Days of Night fame, obviously, among many other things, is doing an entire issue of the Seance Room. Yeah, so those two things alone should get this thing over the mark. So let's get people to find out about it and donate. And I mean, there's this Templesmith original art up on the site right now. I mean, just some incredible stuff. And yeah, thank you. So thank you guys for having me on, so I can get the word out.
You also have another one of my favorite artists and friend helping you out on the Kickstarter, Alex CORMAC.
Yeah,
art is dope. I don't know if you guys know his work. I have actually when I'm a very frugal person, but I did go out, like, I don't have a lot of commission artwork, but his stuff is amazing, and he did an amazing He-Man versus Skeletor commission for me.
Oh, I bet he did. Yeah, that's good.
He's worked on what was that really big one he did recently? He
Road of Bones.
Yeah, Road of Bones, and he did I Played the Bad Guy, and
Crimson Cage, which just came out on AWA, which was basically Shakespeare meets 80s wrestling. It was really good.
What was that UK one? Sync. Yeah, that one was really big too. Like, the wicked good horror. Like, if you get anthology kind of thing, really good stuff. He's pretty incredible. I mean, it's kind of a blessing, right, that like Alex CORMAC is, third on the list of the incredible talent that I've worked on with this Kickstarter with these 4 issues, right? Because it's like that. I mean, if Alex is like your base, you're good. Yeah, like, for real.
Now, Ben, is Seance a continuing series, or is this a new series? What's the deal on it?
Yeah, so Séance Room, get rid of that glare. They're one-shots. So each one is like an episode of Twilight Zone, right? Like, this gentleman right here runs a mansion, and there are 6 ghosts that are all inside. Each issue is a full story. Someone goes into the mansion, one of the ghosts comes to life and forces the person to face a fear or secret. So each issue is a self-contained story completely. And then the next issue, somebody else goes into the Seance Room and a brand new tale of terror starts. And ultimately, I honestly thought I was going to end with the 4 issues, but it just, people, they wanted more, and so we're giving it to them. And yeah, so 4 new issues, but even though this is volume 2, it's, I mean, you could read them 6, 2, 8, 4, 1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what order you read them in.
Right. All right, cool. Now I got the backstory on it. Awesome.
So essentially what you're doing is like Twilight Zone meets a haunted house meets what I wanted the 13 Ghost remake to be. And that's fantastic.
I do. It's so funny, man. I do get the 13 Ghosts thing once in a while. And I'm just like, I love Matthew Lillard anyway. So that movie it was like, I'm 35, and there was a certain time where just like, it was the House on Haunted Hill remake, 13 Ghosts, what else? Like Jeepers Creepers. So they're kind of all in that early 2000s, late 90s. And I love those.
Yeah. It's like, it was funny because I was rewatching it and I was just like, this is good. And I was like, man, I would have loved like a series where we focused each episode on the ghost. That would have been like amazing. Like when they did the featurette, I was like, this is kind of better than half the movie right here. Like
it would be. I mean, listen, if the producers are listening now, you know the guy who can write that for you and make it happen. We got experience with ghosts.
That guy.
I know.
Just real quick, Ben, do you have a volume on your microphone? Are you able to turn it down, or is it just like a 1 for?
I can just talk a little quieter. Is that better?
Yeah, it was just I was getting some peaking, so just wanted to check.
I'm clipping.
Yeah,
I'm clipping. That's not shocking. That seems right for me.
Okay, I was like, I was getting crazy. I was like, I'm hearing something, but I'm like, this is all working for me now. It's like, I'm gonna shut up.
Well, I understand, Ben. You're excited and all that. It was like the sound check, everything went great. So it's yeah. So
dude, my wife yells at me all the time that I'm yelling.
Well, it's also you go into showman mode, right? Like, 'cause you're used to being on the con floor.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you're trying to get the guy. Yeah, you get the guy across the way, but you're also trying to overdo the DJ who's playing next to you.
Okay.
Oh, it's definitely about Ben, Jabo.
Hey, Jabo, it's Ben and us. Okay. We happen to be here making this congeal a little better. So calm down. Also, I'd like to point out something. Whoa, Jar Jar, I'd like to point out two things. One, you being like, I feel like the entire time you've been very quiet, so I'm imagining you louder, and maybe it's the mics because you just seem a little bit more soft spoken. Then I'm like, who am I talking? Like I'm horrendously loud. And then the second thing, how are you frugal? Every time we do a show, you have, look at these classic comics in my background I collected over
Drew,
the years.
You weren't here for the story. I just won a new book on eBay. Okay.
This is okay.
All right,
thank you
ready?
for
Now
proving my
listen.
point even more.
Now listen to how
Yeah,
I
Drew,
was
you gotta
frugal.
listen to this. Yeah.
I've waited to
hold on.
get this book for about 9 months now. Everybody on eBay has this book up there. You can look right now. They're at like $225, $245. I set my limit for $30 for this book. I almost got it a few months back. This lady was willing to go down to $40, and I almost pushed the button on it. And I was like, you know what? I can't do it. I just won it for total shipped $21.
Nice.
So I'm very frugal. I set a limit and I do not go beyond it.
All right.
I have an allowance.
Okay. You've only proving my point even more, but thank you. And the second question being is, what did you buy?
The Flintstone here. Well, maybe Leo can bring it up on the thing. It's the Flintstones Christmas party treasury. It's friggin' awesome. Like it's such a like I didn't even know Hanna-Barbera put out. There's 3 in the set. I now have 2. I have the Yogi Bear one right here. The Flintstones one's on its way, and the Laugh Olympics is the last one I need to get. Once again, everybody on eBay has it at like $225, $250. I cannot afford that. I'm
actually, first one that came up.
For what?
For the treasury, $486.
$486.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it for 21. Although that is graded, it seems 9.4.
Yeah, but look at that bend in the bottom.
Yeah, I see that right there. Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm sorry, and I just want to say this. I've never I feel grading should only be if you plan on selling the comic.
I agree.
Like other than that, I think grading is just. I apologize, any CDC people who are a part of our show. I think grading is stupid, and I think it's kind of ruined the industry a little bit.
Unless you want to do it to the Seance Room, that's the only acceptable time.
Exactly.
No, I tried it one time, and it took 9 months to get my book back, and I'm not even sure it was the same book I sent in.
Well, and then my favorite thing is, just recently, Joe Schmalke did a cover of one of his books. I think, God, I don't remember which one it was, but he did it intentionally to look decrepit, right? And CGC was people were getting them back from CGC graded at what the idea was and not what the actual printing was. So they get these books back that are clearly 9.8s because they're new, but they were being graded as like 4s. So they weren't even looking at them. They just said, "Oh, it's like shit," and then.
No, I've been a big I don't want to call it a scam, but I think it's silly that if you need somebody to tell you what your book is valued at, that just seems silly to me. Like if I don't know,
no, this is.
I feel like it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you were saying about
No. I was just going to compliment this group. Is that it seems like a group of actual readers. That's the difference, right? Like you're not looking to take them to the conventions and flip them, to someone who just got into collecting, just realized that the Neil Adams books are worth some money and wants to buy the graded one. Like you guys actually read the books. That's the difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, except I admit I read the digital now, and my books go bagged and backed, as soon as I get them. So
Yeah. So
Two
Leo, speaking
things.
of, didn't we find out last week that something that you have like 22 copies of went up to like 30, 40 bucks a thing? Did you
Leo,
investigate that?
Yeah, Leo, you
Look at
can't
this.
talk with your 25 covers of X-Men 1.
Okay, let's correct you. I have 44 copies of X-Men #1.
That's
I'm so
awesome.
sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Are
Consolation
22
prize.
of them on eBay yet?
For real.
And if not, what are you waiting for? Jar Jar will do it for you for 10%.
I can't do that. I'm not allowed to make any money in the divorce. If I make money, she'll throw me over the coals.
What about under the table there, Jar Jar?
I as I said, I can hook you up with James O'Brien and Mark Haley of And Sold It, who are very happy to help for a small commission price. They are a legitimate auction, and they get top dollar for their books.
So I have a book. I'm actually a little scared to send it away to be graded. First appearance of Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Wait,
Which
the first one?
yeah.
You're talking about the John Ostrander?
They actually deal with all that too. If you want to do that, they do cleaning, pressing, and send it away to CGC or CBCS.
I just looked it up on eBay. It's this issue.
Oh, the actual original, like
Yeah.
The real one.
Yeah.
God, the actual DC Suicide Squad, the first one.
Yeah, well, the first appearance of Suicide Squad.
Holy shit.
That's pretty.
That's how much an 8.5 is selling? No way.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
that has to be. Yeah.
I'd rather mortgage a house. Thank you.
But hey, if I want to bring the focus to make Jabo happy back to Ben. Hey,
Oh,
Ben,
yeah. Yeah, Jabo, I am planning to back Ben's new book. I back all my friends' books. I just did Joe St. Pierre's for the new Zodiacs, and
I did too.
Doing Ben's as well.
Now, Ben, we get artists and writers on here all the time talking, doing the same type of thing you are, trying to raise some awareness for their Kickstarter. Can you tell, the viewers, what's a Kickstarter? What goes into it? How does it all work? Because most people generally don't know.
Rich, that's a great question. Because I think you do much like this, where Leo goes the Suicide Squad, and all of us immediately go, "Well, which one?" It's just
Right.
There is a bit of like an inside baseball that I think we all sometimes do forget that even your medium to less collect people wouldn't necessarily know. So that's a great question, man. You should host a podcast. The what the Kickstarter is the Kickstarter basically is like a promissory note, right? I set the number, and the number for this project is $10,000, which averages about $2,500 a book, which is pretty standard. It's also not actually the amount that I need. I need more. A lot's going to go out of pocket for me, but I thought it was a reasonable amount to sort of ask people. And especially where the quality of these books, right? So that's where that number comes from. And with Kickstarter, you're actually, you're saying, well, I'll donate this much, and each tier has a different amount of product that you're going to get. So, and some of them are really high ticket things. Like you can go everything from just all 8 digital copies. So every issue digitally, is I think $20. And then the highest thing right now, and that could change, depending on what I have some stuff in the back pocket, but is actually for $800. You can you come to Salem, Massachusetts, with me, and you get to go to a haunted magic show in Salem, in an old abandoned church in Salem, and you get to go to a wax figure museum in Salem. That's all paid for, obviously. And you get to enjoy the night in Salem, Massachusetts with me, and we go on a guided, basically a guided tour through one of my favorite cities in America. So that's the big ticket, and that also comes with all the physical copies and a special 1-of-1 cover for each of the books. That literally one cover will be made of those for that whoever gets that tier. So there is collectability elements to it. If you just want to back the thing to help you get it made, but you also just want the books, you can get the books. Then you can add on the graphic novel with the original 4 issues to it. So it's just kind of like a piecemealing of whatever you want to tailor your experience to. So that and the truth is, and this is the God's honest truth, the Buddha's on it, whatever deity you want to base this honesty on. Tom Cruise, all the money's going to the artists. I will see $0 from this Kickstarter for me personally, none. It all goes just to pay the artists. And that's how I can make all 4 issues all at once. Otherwise, it would take the original 4 issues took 5 years, because it's such a costly endeavor to do this stuff. So I'm sure people are like, well, why do you do it? And I don't know, because I'm mentally unstable.
Well, I would assume that you're just trying to get your project budgeted, hoping that it gets some traction, and then if you get some good sales, then you'll start to make some money. I'm assuming.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, hey, there it is. There's old Harry. And that's the art. So that's the interiors of the original 4 issues. And so you can see it's a quality. Yeah, it's a real quality book. It's beautiful. And then obviously, imagine Ben Templesmith doing an issue. His issue's great. It's called Harry's Opus. And it's actually, it's 22 pages of actively trying to undermine, anticipate, and reconfigure your experience with a physical comic book.
Okay. So Ben, I have to ask, what was the comic, whether it's book or series or whatever, that hooked you into comics? Like, what was the book that you read? It was like that's it. Welcome to the world. I'm sold. Who asked that question? I can't actually see.
It was Drew.
I just want to give proper credit to the man who asks excellent questions. You all do. You all should host a podcast. It will come as no surprise to anyone. Am I clipping, by the way? Am I okay?
It's a little bit, but I think it might be your microphone and not your voice. So it's okay. Well, good.
I'll tell you what. Can we try something real quick?
Yeah, totally.
We're gonna try something. I'm gonna shut these off, and I'm gonna do. How is this? How are we better?
No.
No, it's worse.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the microphone changed. So, do you have a microphone in those headphones?
I think he's on his phone, right?
All right. Well, my apologies. I'll just talk quieter. But the comic, it will come as no surprise based on what I've said so far, but Saga of the Swamp Thing. It's the greatest comic that was ever written. Obviously, it's everyone has an opinion.
Alan Moore, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
And it's just right. No, like the end of Senti one. No, it's Saga of the Swamp Thing. It's perfection, and it's perfection. Extended, it continues to be perfect. It never stopped being perfect, which is such an incredible feat for such a long-running series. And also, a book like that, it gives me hope when you guys saw Multiverse, right? You all saw Multiverse?
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh,
all right. Then I won't. Don't worry about it. But for those who have seen it, the bits towards the end, there was some stuff where you're like, I can't believe that the Marvel tie wearers and accountants let Sam Raimi do this. And that's how I feel about Saga of the Swamp Thing. And anytime I can see something like that, where you're like, the bean counters were not involved. This was purely an artistic endeavor from front to finish. It fills my heart, And as that book is just, and it's the scope of it is huge. The actual production of it, because there's one thing to have conceptually interesting things, but then to actually achieve that, oh my God, that book is just the best. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but that, I mean, I get pretty excited about that book.
No, I mean, Ben, Vertigo at that time was producing that. I mean, you had Hellblazer, you would later have Sandman, which, I mean, that changed. I mean, I mean, despite the fact that the person you just referenced, Alan Moore, hates the term, that Sandman created graphic novel. I mean, people have basically said it because you read that, it's comics, but it's more literature than anything. And you're reading Sandman, Swamp Thing, it's not just a story about a man who had the worst day of his life and ended up a swamp creature. It explores his humanity, explores life, death, magic, place in the universe. There's a lot going on in that. And that's the genius of Alan Moore, is that he makes the simplest things the most grandiose, elegant material. And like you said, that's why it still stands the test of time. A lot of really great comics do. And
Mm-hmm. I hold to, I mean, you said something that really sparked one of my passions before. I hold that you could maintain that pouring a glass of water would be a compelling story, just the act of pouring a glass of water, if you took into account the amount of humanity, the amount of backstory that goes into that glass, because it's I don't know, the stuff that I really love, and I think a lot of people would agree, is not necessarily because they're superhuman, but because through superhumans, you are able to hold up the mirror and hold up the magnifying glass to the elegant simplicity of humanity, right? And to your point, that's what he did with that. Like you said, could be the guy on the worst day of his life, and then but he didn't. It was like, what happens if? And he was one of the first ones too with that book, especially, where it was like the idea that we need to commune with the natural surroundings in a modernist time period. And I'm not necessarily I'm not like a crazy, I don't live in a yurt. I live in normal society, and sometimes shower too long. But the truth is, that book gets you thinking, I am not the center of this universe. I am a piece of it all. And it's like, from a comic book, right? And so when you said, oh, this is literature, this is the first graphic novel, and I think that's the case, right? You kind of, before that, it would have been absurd to think I could have epiphanic moments from a comic book, but now we almost expect that.
It's actually the main thing that I think draws us all to comics as actual readers, that the stories that show the humanity of these characters that are just so grand, but they can be reduced down to this tiny just particle in the universe.
Well,
I don't know if that makes sense.
Speaking of that, I think that's a good segue for the Boys trailer, huh?
Oh,
yeah,
the Boys.
Holy,
absolutely.
That looked.
And just before we get to that, if anyone's questioning the humanity of what's happening here, this is just water. I'm just thirsty. So I need to say that. It was such a nice speech. I was like, he just kept bringing up a cup of water, and I was just like, I'm just kind of thirsty.
This is my podcast thing is like Brad Pitt, he eats in every movie. My podcast thing is I take a sip of things all the time. But yeah, no, I have been off I won liquor. I won alcohol. I beat it. I had enough of it. And so now 2 years now sober. And actually what Jeremy's drinking.
Nice. Awesome. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks. And no shade on anyone, because the drink is a wonderful thing, man. But I was very good at it. So I got Brian K. Vaughan and Jeff Lemire to walk away from me at a party one time because I was too drunk. Thank you. It's pretty impressive, right? In the same night. So
if
and seltzer.
If that doesn't convince you to stop, I mean, what will?
Maybe add in Alan Moore.
There you go.
Alan Moore probably would have just choked you, just been like, "What are you doing?"
And I would have been so happy.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy, Alan Moore would have listened to
uh,
him till he really talked about how much he loved the Watchmen movie, and then his beard would have come alive and been whole. Like
Zeruda.
just like the magical entity that I believe it is. I just think that it's just, you know, like a Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's actually the thing people didn't know is his inspiration for the tendrils from Swamp Thing came from his beard.
And isn't he believes
No.
himself to be an actual wizard too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Him
Yes.
and that dude, Preacher guy, the guy who wrote Preacher.
Ennis.
Garth Ennis?
Is it Ennis? Oh no, maybe I'm thinking.
No, that's the
somebody
boys.
else.
Yeah, it's
He
the
wrote The
boys,
Boys.
but we'll get to that.
I forget him and Alan Moore had a thing, like a little rivalry going on with this guy. They used to like put little like spells against each other in their comic books and stuff. I forget what it's called. His name was
Yeah, he did.
pretty famous
How cool
guy.
is that?
Right?
Wow.
Like,
One more.
God, what is his
Good
name?
world, man.
God damn, he worked on, I think on
Well, there's a so-called feud between Alan Moore and Grant Morrison.
that's
the
Grant
one.
Morrison. Yep. They both believe they're like wizards
First
or
things
something
first.
like that. Which like all the power
First
to
thing
them.
first, Alan. No, that's been going on for years, ever since Morrison is one of the biggest critics of Watchmen, and he has gone in on how dumb he thinks Watchmen is. And
Wow.
Alan Moore has to be like, who are you? You know, and it's crazy because they're both extremely talented writers in their own way. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, not everything Morrison writes is amazing in my opinion, but you read some of his stuff and you're like, wow, what drugs were you on? Because this is
and he was
great.
working on
And then he did
the DC does the show of it.
Doom Patrol.
Yeah, Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
His Doom Patrol was great.
Now, speaking
really
of spells,
yeah.
Ben, does this background and this kind of familiarity make you a Wiccan?
No, I would say it makes me a wicked empathist.
Okay, all right. So you're more fascinated with the lore.
He's an observer, not a participant.
Well,
That's fair.
We could also ask this: do you weigh as much as a duck?
Oh,
I weigh.
Look at his nose.
Again, we're going to Salem. You guys can come. No, I'm actually. It's so interesting because not to get too deep into this because who cares? Who cares about what I think? But actually, you should care, and you should care about finding out
we're asking
what it's like on the Kickstarter. Yeah, no, I'm actually Jeremy said it really well. I'm an observer, not a participant. I do not really hold.
That was true.
Yeah, I do not hold a firm belief system other than that. There's, morality plays a part in all of our lives, whether you believe it or not. Let me put it this way: I believe in karma, but not in any guided sense. I believe that, if I was an asshole to all four of you guys, would I be on this podcast? You know what I mean? That's the karma that I believe in, that we as humans have any control over. And at the end of the day, it's I don't go to AA, but it's
the
serenity,
answer
right?
to that question is, how famous are you?
That's what a great point. No, you're not wrong though. Well, it's like the other day, my fiance showed me a picture. It was Tom Brady, his first year's rookie year, and then Tom Brady now, and he's just like looking schlubby and awful, and then obviously he's a handsome god now, and it's like, you're not ugly, you're just poor. That was the point, right? So it's like, that's the same thing. You're not an asshole, you're just famous.
There you go.
But yeah, so that, I mean, the Wiccan thing is again, it's like super. I don't know if you guys get this, but it's like, show me. You know what I mean? Show me. I'm open.
Totally.
The things that I got brought up with, that shit all did not pass muster. That
Well,
it felt.
In the other room, my Harley is right now doing a tarot card reading
nice.
and she has one of her clients who's been with her for like a decade, and she can tell you some shit.
There you go. And again, that's the thing where I'm like, cool, show me, and I'll go, and I would love to have the tarot card reading.
I had the very same beliefs.
Well, you're not that far, man. We can set it up.
And I think we probably came up through the same belief system too that just didn't hold water.
Yeah, the one where it didn't hold holy water. I don't know. If
exactly. It's just like, I don't think this is for me.
Oh man, all my Bible Belt fans just left.
Yeah.
It's
we
okay.
just lost
But
all of Alabama.
It's all my fault. I did it.
But two courts.
No. Well, it's also. I mean, the first issue of Séance Room is sort of about abortion. So right off the bat, there's like anyone who knows me, that's your first issue. Like you're gonna find out real quick.
Man,
but what's that?
Hey man, went swinging right for the bleachers.
Yeah, no shit,
Good
right?
stuff.
They were. I can't believe they let me go for that. That's my first issue. But the cool thing about Source Point Press was when I started with them, they weren't even with Diamond. They didn't have anything, so there was nothing to lose, which I think is pretty similar to that Vertigo mentality early on.
Yeah, it was like you and like Bob Sally's book there. He had the
Salvagers.
Yeah, Salvagers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bob's still a very good friend.
Yeah, is he still putting out stuff? I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he's putting out some stuff now. He's got this book with Stan Yak, who's an incredible artist. It is called Bronze Punk. Broken Gargoyles is the name of the book, and it's really cool.
His Ogre series was really good.
Yeah, he introduced us all to Sean Daly, and Sean is this artist who kind of does kind of like if Usagi Jimbo.
Yeah.
Was
Stan
more
Sakai,
of
kind of
more of a Stan Sakai, but if Stan Sakai was really into watercolor, and that's how Sean, and now so Sean is doing great, and it's like you get to meet all these crazy people, and it's very funny to come up because I've been doing this for maybe about 7 years now, and to see some of these dudes and people go, oh my god, they're good. I'm like, yeah, we do.
To me, it's great watching you guys like blow up, like because like I got to see you guys all at the very bottom, and now like you guys are rising up. Like Chris Campana is like doing all sorts of stuff, and Joe's doing all sorts of stuff. Like it's amazing to me. Like you guys, well, Joe's never been at the bottom, but
that's how it always is, and I feel like that itself proves the time and true because at one point. All the greats were nobodies. They were all people who someone saw the potential and gave them a shot, and they worked hard and they aligned themselves with good projects and showed I'm a voice that's worth checking out. And before we knew it, boom. I think the thing.
No, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. No. You. Sorry.
I feel like the problem being is that everybody wants to be what already happened. Like, oh, I want to be the next Kirby. I want to be the next Frank Miller, Bendis, all these greats. And I'm sorry, I keep bringing up writers, the same thing with artists. Oh, Alex Ross, Tony Harris, all these greats in the industry. And it's like, dude, that's awesome that you can take inspiration, but be the first you. Write the stories that make sense to you. It's like my old writing teacher used to tell me, you should be writing stuff that you as a person would check out on the stands.
Right.
I'm
if
telling
it's
you, in like 30 years. Oh, sorry, Drew.
No, I'm done. I'm cool.
Oh, okay.
I've done
I was gonna say,
I'm good.
I was going to say, like in 30 years, I know we're going to see like Alex Cormack like be like a guy that he's going to be a legend. Like his art, you can tell his art is specific to him, and it tells a story. It's really deep. It's really good stuff. So like
we could do.
I'm actually like debating hitting that reward there, the Alex Cormack commission one. I'm like, oh.
Great plug there. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. We got a couple of remarks and commissions on there right now for Alex Cormack on the Kickstarter.
And
I
Ben
can actually send you guys if I leave for a second just so I can send you something because Alex Cormack and I have a book coming out with Black Caravan in October.
Oh, nice.
And so you can actually see some of the art he's talking about. I'll send it to Leo and he can put it up. So I'm going to leave for like 2 seconds and get this going. All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Insider deets.
Oh, we should probably talk about Superman at some point too.
Yeah, I was going to ask. We're going to be doing the trailers, then whatever else. Then, like, don't get me wrong, this is good. But I was like, because I know, Mr. Pond over there was like, listen, we got to have a structure. Okay, we're trying to tighten these screws. Splash pages, everybody.
Well, so I mean, the structure is very fluid as long as like we keep the sections together. It's very fluid.
As long as
maybe
we don't
we
end
should
up
do the Prey trailer now.
Yeah.
I just want to say, as long as we don't end up like the time Always Sunny tried doing a podcast, because dibs on munching on saltines, but you guys bomb at it.
Just reminds, boys, we're live now. We're pulling back the curtain here.
Oh,
we're pulling back the curtain. This is not a Leo Pond edit.
We're
doing it live.
Okay, well, I will say this. I will say this. It has been a really good week for trailers. They've been dropping a lot of stuff that I'm actually excited about. And I will say this. The one thing I've been excited for, but the trailers are just dope, is something Ben brought up. The Boys. This new season, I can't wait. Especially now that I've read everything, I'm even more excited because I'm walking in knowing that no matter what the show does, and the show has been amazing last 2 seasons, I'm astounded at what they got away with. But oh my God, the fact that we're going to get Hero-gasm, I don't for anyone who doesn't read this, who's never read The Boys, y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready.
I was more excited about what they totally downplayed, Drew, which was barely any black noir.
Yeah.
And knowing that black noir is the counterweight to the big man is very exciting to me.
Indeed. And also, can we just acknowledge that I think Jensen Ackles is going to kill it as Soldier Boy. I just the new trailer, just seeing it, it's so obvious that he's their version of Captain America.
Yeah,
but
and he really wants to be a superhero.
Yeah.
Like, he wants this. Like, I can't wait to see him do
the
this
casting across the board for the last 2 seasons has been stellar. Whoever's casting that show is on point.
Yeah.
Going into the season, Drew, since you've read all the issues, please tell me we're not going to have like another killer whale type scene, because that was.
Well, I hope so.
I do too. I do too.
Or the dolphin that wants to bang him. Oh, that was fucking phenomenal.
His story is like my favorite side story that's going on. Like, I've gone through like such an emotional roller coaster with that character.
Yeah.
When he gets raped, I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh my
when she messes
God,
with his gills and shit.
The fingers and gills. Yeah.
I felt like very like violated for him. I was like, oh my, like also you're sitting there and you're like, oh, good for, but like, oh, that's like, oh, it's such a weird, like, yeah, the writing has been phenomenal on there.
Whoa, Drew swigging the wine tonight.
Yeah, that's not water.
Sorry, man.
That was a big, that was a big question. So I was like, okay, I got to take some liquid courage there. Leo, you're no spring chicken nor a frail snowflake. So I can say that whatever they're going to throw at you, you can handle. But I'm just letting you know it's just going to get weirder and bigger and bloodier. And it's just put it this way, Leo, the descent of madness we're going to see from Homelander, if it follows anything similar to the trajectory in the comics, holy shit, y'all ain't ready. I just need to say that. And I also need to say that if they are serious about doing the spin-off that they were talking about, which was I think Teenage Kicks. That could be just as great because that was the boys' version of the X-Men. And let me just tell you, holy crap, if they do that, again, y'all ain't ready. But I mean, again, we have to always remember that they're never going to 100% follow the comics, which in this regard is fine because the comics are just fucked.
I'm actually holding off on the comics until the series done because I've done so many books before the show and it's totally ruined the show or movie for me that I'm like, if something comes out that I haven't read yet, I have to wait until that's completely done and then go back and read it because I don't want to ruin.
Jeremy, let me put it this way.
Entertained.
Yeah, let me put it this way: if you read the books, when you go to Terrificon in the end of July and meet Garth, you're just gonna want to shake his hand and say, "God damn, I love your work, you crazy bastard." And I've already met him, and I've already shook his hand for some of his crazy DC work in the past. Thank you, Hitman.
Hitman is great.
Yeah, hands down. But that's not tonight. But the point being is, the Boys' new trailer, hands down, looks fantastic.
Has anybody watched Diabolical?
Yes.
I'm halfway through. I've watched 4 of them.
I've heard it's good.
They're really
I've
good.
yet to see it.
That first one, Jeremy, is extra spectacular.
I love how they do them in different styles each episode.
That first one felt very Bugs Bunny-ish or Woody Woodpecker-ish. Very classic.
And I feel like, I just want to say this, I feel like this is the perfect time for us to have the Boys because we're a world that's very, superhero culture is at the highest it's ever been. Everybody knows the characters, you know. Every superhero that comes out will get a new legion of fans, whether or not they're good. I feel like you need this time to kind of still remind yourself that, like, again, they're just comic book characters. 2, kind of dispel the myth that everybody thinks that, oh, if I had superpowers, I would do this, I would do that. I'm like, please, you would be just as much of a head as you are now, but with super speed. So the Boys, it just kind of reminds you that humanity with too much power just turns into, let's call it, as Butcher said, everybody turns into a cunt.
Yeah, I would want to be good, but I would totally go bad.
Yeah, it's okay. Listen, let's just say this: if Leo had superpowers, there would be no more snakes in the whole world.
Okay. Oh wait, Leo, you hate snakes, buddy?
He's got a Bam Margera. Margera fan.
My fiance is absolutely terrified of it. It is a very valid fear that we.
No.
So
he is a snake killer.
When I had a very bad run of luck in 2012, and essentially I was, pretty much homeless. I moved back into my parents' old farmhouse, and turned out since it was unoccupied for a time, it became infested with snakes. I was killing about a dozen snakes a summer.
Wow! So you're like the St. Patrick, but on boys.
Yeah. Leo, go ahead, Leo. Hit him with the picture.
Oh, you got a picture of it?
Yeah.
He's got some of his dead snakes. He's crazy. He's Leo the Snake Man.
Yeah, and then you have to understand, Ben. He told us this so nonchalant, like, I went to the deli, and one summer in 2012, I was just killing a dozen snakes a day, just so nonchalantly. And then let's get to the comments, and I was just like, whoa, what the fuck?
Whoa, Leo.
And Leo, let's not forget that you grew up with the snakes too, and your dad used to put gasoline in holes and light the holes on fire. Let's not forget that story.
Okay, yeah. So before I was born, I don't know if it was before I was. So anyway, we had a copperhead problem up at the farm, and my dad found a nest. So he
up at the farm.
Yeah, he
Fucking Leo up at the farm.
The way my mom tells it is he dumped a bunch of gasoline down into the nest and lit it on fire. And she said there was snakes like coming out of the ground, like writhing on like on fire.
Thank you. Right, Ben? Is that not the stuff of nightmares?
Well,
Like,
so I'm realizing that not only was I wrong, I was the opposite. He's not afraid of snakes. Snakes are terrified of ponds.
Yeah,
Real.
Yes.
Don't
He's-
go near the
Did
pond.
you have a well full of snakes on the farm too?
he's
So
a John Wick of killing snakes.
I'm
Okay,
telling you.
he's their Baba Yaga. You know, he's the guy that you hire to kill the snakes boogeyman.
They fear the snakes fear Leo.
well,
All
so-
the snakes for Christmas, they tell their children, if you're not good, Leo's gonna come.
They call him the Scaly Man. If he's not good, the Scaly Man will get you.
Yeah, remember
So,
that ginger. Watch out for him.
so Velvet mentioned the. I know we're totally off topic, but
Oh, are we?
Good stuff though.
so my brother has a house on the land. So like my grandparents owned like the whole top of the hill. It was like a couple hundred acres, and my brother still has like 3 acres. My family farm is like on another 3 acres, and my grandparents' house is like on top of the hill still, but it got sold off. And the guy that's been trying to renovate it has given up because it's so infested with snakes.
Wow.
He asked my brother to fill up a old well up there, and when he lifted the stone, it was hundreds of snakes in the well.
Whoa.
It's the
That's
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on up there?
Oh, it's just an infestation
Wow.
of snakes. Yeah.
Copperheads too, huh?
Well, so after my dad nuked the nest of copperheads,
He came back with a vengeance.
Napalm.
After the Copperhead genocide.
so the snakes that are up there now are black snakes, like black racers.
Yeah.
So-
That's just because they're charcoal.
No, yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, that
Leo's family
That's
altered their
something-
DNA.
Yeah.
that's an indigo Montoya snake right there. You know.
So this one here was probably a little over. It was about 6 feet long.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Again, Leo.
Those aren't snakes. Those are dragons.
Yeah, Leo. Again, you just say this so nonchalantly. Like this is something that's public. Oh, it's 6 feet long. Like Leo, listen.
He just
I'm
pops on his
terrified
fedora and grabs his bullwhip and his axe and he's ready to go.
For real, I
Exactly.
see that
Like-
and I burn down the house. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
we're done.
Leo, like Leo, you have to understand. You made something scary worse. Like I'm afraid of spiders, and I stupidly watched Arachnophobia, and Jeff Daniels did the
God.
cardinal thing. He lit the nest on fire, so then the mutant killer spider is on fire running at him. I was like, you made it worse? It's already trying to kill you and all of California, and you lit it on fire? Why don't you just give it spikes? Like, you lit the snakes on fire. You pissed them off. You are officially like condemned in the reptile mafia.
Ben's got 3 new episodes already, just off these stories.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
No. What Ben's gonna do
It's called a
is
snake on
he's
room.
There you go.
What Ben's gonna do is his wife is gonna ask him, "How was the podcast?" And he's just gonna say "fine" and change the subject.
Funny you should say that. For the last 4 minutes, I've been debating about actually telling her right now about what you guys are saying.
Well, so just to not to make things worse, but like this one right here. It was a hot summer day, and definitely
Rue,
Rue,
come here.
It was
Rue,
a
for a
hot
second.
summer day.
Come here.
So this one here I had trouble getting. It was crawling up on the wall. I had 2 axes, and I used one axe to pull it off the wall, and then the other axe to dispatch of it.
Can you see what that is? That's a 6 foot long black snake. So Leo at the top.
Hey, Jeff.
That's the glasses ginger.
So Leo, his apartment or his farm
Leo's
was
a
absolutely
snake murderer.
decimated by snakes.
Oh my God.
He killed tons of these. They had copperheads. His dad put fuel down a hole and lit them all on fire. They came out writhing and
I don't like that.
Isn't that
Don't hurt
nuts?
the animals. animals.
You said that
I
you'd be
don't
running
like
from that.
them. I wouldn't torture them for being disgusting.
Yeah.
Altered the DNA.
Oh my
What would
gosh.
you, Rue? What would you do if you saw that in our house? That
We'd
black
burn the
temple?
house down.
Book it.
You just
Yeah, get out of there.
She's gonna
I don't know. I mean, I guess if it was chasing you, kill it, obviously.
That's
You
why
think so?
I'll never
I would
be
kill
good
it.
in a horror.
Do you know what
movie.
Leo did? Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Leo.
The
He
ghost
actually-
would show up and I'd just leave.
Leo picked it up and he started kissing it because they had a moment. And then after
Is he started saying
No, I'm just kidding.
No, ma'am, God, no.
All right, we've
Anyway.
gone off the rails.
Oh yeah, it has.
What is it?
Yeah, it has.
Thank you, ma'am. We're glad to feel your nightmares. Thank you.
Sorry.
Be glad you're not happy.
Did you Leo? Did you get the pictures that I sent you?
Oh yeah. Alex Cormac. It should be on Facebook there in the little messenger.
See, guys, this is what we do. We make memorable stories so our guests remember us. You know, they're like, oh, you want to talk about snakes? I was on this show one time. This guy is fucking nuts. You know.
Well, it is. Well, I'll tell you what. So Jeremy brought up the postcards earlier, and yeah, that was
I love
answer.
those.
That was my answer to all these artists who are making. Oh yeah, so this is Alex Cormac's art from the book we have coming out. It's called Ghosts on the Water, and it's like Maori Pirates of the Caribbean, basically. Moana meets Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sweet.
And his art is just absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
That is dope.
Like the passion, like everything is crystal clear. You know exactly the story he's telling through those visuals. His panels, like the next page that should have is like just interesting panel shots where you know the ocean and the top down of the boat, and then you get in with them. Like it tells the story visually and in time and space at the same time. He's just incredible. Jar Jar, you need a taller chair.
Taller chair.
Sorry about that, man. I actually try to keep the camera above me, so I'm always looking up at it, so I don't look really stoned.
Oh, that's smart. There you go.
Yeah, I don't
So-
drink,
working.
but I smoke
Not
a
working
lot
at
of
all.
It works. It's a 50-50, man. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm participating, and sometimes you really look. Like, sometimes, like, the
Oh, speaking of snakes, look at Leo. Look at the snake on that one.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Yes, Jeff, the snake again. We couldn't resist.
But yeah, the postcards was my answer to artists who can do commissions and writers really can't do commissions. So I started on the back of these vintage postcards. I do horror stories for people, and they'll tell me what their fear is, and then I write it for them at the convention.
That is actually, Ben, that actually is so cool. I'm sorry to interrupt because I actually did a project like that back in the day. I had like 100 postcards, and I just told ghost stories on them and did little drawings, and I sent them to my friends. And they were all like, New York based, and then of course I had to get creative. And I took photos and I made an album of it because you're proud of that. And I remember I told a friend of mine, I was like, I call them ghost cards, and he was like, genius. I was like, I have my moments.
Oh my god, that is! I'm mad that I haven't thought of that one before. That's very good.
Those cards from the edge.
The one time I did one. Oh, but talking about people's fears, like this conversation, it becomes memorable, and you actually you have these cool conversations with people. One time I did one, and I'd mail them out too, and I took strawberry jam and I put it on my thumb, and then put the thumbprint on the card, and then kind of swiped it a little bit, so it looked like a bloody thumbprint that like someone was trying to grab at it. Yeah. And then I wrote help. And it got sent back from the mail because the post office was like, "We're not sending
That's a little too far."
I used to do mail projects with my friends, and I remember I had this thing where I sent a friend of mine who was in a car crash a postcard every day, and it was like all Ghostbusters-y things. And I was like, "What does your mailman think of you?" He said, "Oh, he thinks I'm a psychopath." I'm like, I can believe that. I've sent you cartoon demons and goblins and monsters and Cthulhu, but it's still the best.
when I was big into the comic selling on my page there, freaking some of the guys that I was actually friends with, I would write little weird messages on the boxes as you're sending them out, and make sure I'd put like, "Hey, pornos for children" and stuff, and like the mailman be delivering it, because they'd have to go to the door because it's a big box. So,
well, what's that great the great Mitch Hedberg joke? He's like, my UPS guy is a drug dealer. He just doesn't know it.
He had some of the greatest stand-up. He did this one where he's just got the guy playing the bass in the background, and like
Chuck.
Yeah. We lost him way too soon.
We did. So back to trailers, though. Let me just.
Oh yeah.
Segue. So let's go around the flaming snakes. Thank you, Leo. And back to trailers. So I also want to say this. I'm kind of digging this concept for this new Predator prequel.
Dude.
Prey. I don't know if you guys seen the trailer.
Not yet.
Yeah. So basically, the story goes, it's basically that the first movie was not the first time the Predators have been on Earth. So we get an idea of a Predator on Earth. I would say
pre-colonization.
Yeah, I would say it's pre-colonization. So
American
we get
Indians.
that. Yeah, Native Americans. So I'm like, that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well,
because it's funny.
Not to be one of those guys, but isn't it like the fourth movie where they go back to like Egyptian times?
Did they?
No. Okay. First thing, Leo, what you're thinking
one.
of is, but Leo's thinking
is that the
of
A versus P?
Yeah, A versus P.
He's thinking A versus P.
I bowed out. Yeah, I bowed out after Danny Glover, guys. So I'm
I never watched 2, I actually never watched
2 was good. 2 was good because 2 explained more that it wasn't just I hunt. It's I hunt with a purpose. It's, and that's something that the comics really captured, is that the predators are always there to hunt. Because their prey always changes.
Well, also to expanded the universe, because at the end when he's walking into the ship, you see like the alien skull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you also get an idea that they've been there in the past, because they hand him like an old school gun that was like 17th century, like it was a musket, it was like a handgun. So there is definitely clues that you could go in different directions. But their idea of different directions, we're gonna put them against the aliens, or we're gonna you a predator we didn't ask for. Thanks, Shane Black. But it's okay. We had predators, and that was actually passable. With Adrian Brody.
Is Prey a series or is it a movie? It looks like it's a series on Hulu.
Well, if it is a series, I'm with it.
Yeah.
So it does look like it's a series on Hulu, and that kind of worries me because they just canceled MODOK.
Did they?
Yeah, and we know
we haven't even gotten into it yet.
No, we didn't. It's funny for MODOK. Bummer.
I still have to watch Hitmonkey too.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at Netflix where they're canceling things left and right, and not even giving shows a fair chance. I hope, with something like this that they do complete it,
I think with COVID, a lot of shows got
nixed,
really screwed over.
Yeah. Well, also, Leo, I hate to say it, the thing being is that it's the same thing as when good comics get canceled. It's all about audience. If the audience is there, they're gonna, you know what I mean? But they see numbers. The companies are run by people who see numbers and profit. They don't give a shit about comic book characters, But
Flash is getting a season 27.
Yeah, right. What is going on the CW?
I didn't say it was a sound logic.
Well, that type of show, Supernatural, and that's what you said, right? Supernatural season 20. What's
Supernatural.
The Flash.
The Supernatural. Again, I've said this once. I'll say this again. You should do a show with an end game in mind. If it gets pushed a little further, that's fine. You should have a clear ending. Like season 5, we're done.
Yeah, I fell off on season 7 of Supernatural after the 12th time of one of them going to hell and coming back and needing to be trusted again.
No, Jeremy, you have to understand. It was when we went from monster or urban legend of the week to Christian mythology everywhere, and I was just
loved the monster of the week. It was so Scooby-Doo.
It was because they're basically Scooby-Doo meets Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they had a little real story going on in the background, but it wasn't like front and center. And the angels and demons and Malachi and more.
Speaking of, before we get, because everybody today is Splash Pages, the Tangents.
Oh yeah,
with Ben Goldsmith.
So basically, sorry to interrupt, Drew, but basically, I said, let's have a little bit of structure, and Drew's like, fuck that, we're doing like tangents everywhere.
Leo, I don't want to say I poured gasoline down your well and lit you on fire, but snakes.
Can you believe these were in my hand? This is ridiculous.
My God.
Oh, they're much smaller than the pictures you sent me. I thought they were humongous.
Oh, well, they're about the size of a finger.
Yeah, I see it now.
So it went in. This one went like right through here to that, and then this one was holding it down like that. So
I didn't realize you were such a hard masturbator.
Oh, dude, it was hard.
That you messed your hand up.
I slammed it against my chin. As soon as it hit my chin, it got shattered.
You talking about your hand now, or your stuff? Your splooge. You splat.
I'm not saying that.
Man, the impact of my chin.
I'm not saying that every podcast that I am on does tangents, but the product speaks for itself.
Yeah,
right. That's why we're award winning, Ben. That's why we're award winning.
Yeah, award winning.
We boundaries.
I'm gonna try to get the award rescinded tonight. That's my goal. Is to force them to Kevin Spacey, y'all, and just take them all back posthumously. I would actually like to, if I may, since trailers, I watched for you guys. I watched the She-Hulk trailer. Did you guys? Have we seen this yet?
I actually like that a lot.
That looks super fun. Yeah, we're looking at slow and silent. No, it looked super fun. It looked like super John Byrne-esque, where he was like a lawyer, but She-Hulk kept getting in the way.
Is got a butt, I guess.
Was no one? I guess so. Was no one else upset about the CGI?
So
what's going on with the Hulk's head, right?
It's just not. It doesn't look that good.
No. Is that what people were complaining about? Ben, you said like people were. You saw something.
About Frogman.
Oh no! Everyone, people are complaining about the same shit they was complaining about. Like, you gotta be a woman who, why don't they just do the regular Hulk and the it's like the same dumb shit, right? No. This was my personal complaint because I'm watching the thing going like, oh, that's funny, oh, that's clever, oh god, that's CGI,
Yeah, the CGI definitely looked a bit off. Hopefully, it's something that they'll fix before this comes out. What, August 17th?
Yeah, they got plenty of time.
Kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm. The thing I just get a little worried about is the humor of it, because I don't mind the shit posting. You know what I mean? Like, kind of making fun, like, oh god, I want to be an Avenger. Like, I'm fine with it, but at the same time, like, I don't want it to fall into some sort of trope, like, oh, look at me, I'm a Hulk and a woman. I was like, yeah, but that's the point. Like, she's different than Hulk. It's not just rage. Like, she had her mind. She was a lawyer. The differences. And I hope that they really play that into a way that's genuine and not trying to win points. Because that kind of humor never works. And those kind of products never stand the test of time. And honestly, Marvel in this phase has really been impressing me with the risks they're taking. And I'm hoping that they continue that, because like, we need a little variety. Like, the Marvel formula is fine, but let's be real here. 20-something movies. We could get a little strange, you know.
I'm in for the long ride that they're putting us on. Like I like it every time. 10 years to get to an end game. No pun intended. Like that, it's fantastic for me. I love for me, every time a new Star Wars movie gets put out or show or something, I love that the story keeps going. So like with Marvel, like the story just keeps going and going. I love that.
And it's diverging, and I think we're going to have, rather than working 10 years towards Infinity War type of storylines, I think, there's going to be the overarching big storyline, and then there's going to be a bunch of like smaller big storylines. I was reading one thing where
I think they can pull Midnight Suns no problem at
some
totally
point. Yeah,
with like a side story going on.
Well, I mean, they already introduced Blade, and they obviously there. Moon Knight.
We just need our Ghost Rider, Danny Ketchum. Where is he?
Yeah, bring back Nick Cage. There we go.
Right, that would be crazy. I was hoping he'd be in Multiverse. That would have been cool.
Oh yeah,
as Superman. No,
but they were talking about. I was reading one article the other day about how we're going to see multiple versions of Kang in the upcoming phase. We're phase 4, right? Yeah,
we're 4. But I will say this though. I feel with anything, I always default to what I call the Cabin in the Woods phenomenon. Cabin in the Woods was a story, but it also paid homage to a lot of great horror films that came in. I mean, let's be real here. We're all horror fans. We all saw it. We all loved it. I mean, no offense. When you probably had it, just like anybody, we all tried to see what was on that board, that betting board that they had, all the different names, and figure out what references what. The point being is that if you create a good story, you make it engaging and well-written and well-directed, whatnot, you'll get the money. You'll get the recognition. You'll get the attention. The producers will make back the money they invested. The actors will get paid. The audience is like, wow, this is something new, instead of, hey, it's the same recycled garbage as the McDonald's of horror. Good, but then you're on the toilet feeling like hell. The same thing with this. Just do the good story. Don't do the good story and do right. If you want representation, write it well. If you want a message, write it well. Then you'll get the people who will be like, wow, that speaks to me, instead of I'm trying to win points so I look inclusive when I'm really not.
Then you piss off everybody. You piss off the people who know that's what you're trying to do and hate that. And then you piss off the people who do want to feel represented because they feel the hollow shell of representation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you win nothing.
I think they did great with Layla's character in Moon Knight. I think that was a great way to introduce a new female character, although they're changing the gender of what the fuck was the name of it? Scarab. The Scarab.
Yeah.
Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah. So it's a character that nobody even cared about, and that people are now upset about it. I'm just like, are you serious?
So that reveal did two things, at least for me, and I've seen a couple posts online where it looks like some other people as well. But when they revealed her, her scene, instantly I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And then you think, oh my God, how bad was Wonder Woman 1984?
Oh my God.
The parallels were just that
was trash.
Oh yeah, but that, seeing her on screen for 5 seconds was like, holy shit! If they did Wonder Woman 1984 like this, it would have been phenomenal.
For real.
Yeah.
I didn't like either of the Wonder Woman movies, but 84 was.
I loved the first one. The first one was amazing.
The villain, I was just like, I'm not scared of him.
So
sorry.
So I do have a question for our guest, to kind of chime in here.
Ben.
So Ben, you obviously love horror. I mean, your product, whatnot. What do you feel about the fact that there's kind of more of an influence in horror in a lot of comic book movies? I mean, you had James Wan did Aquaman. You can clearly see his work in The Conjuring. You had David Walker did Shazam. Shazam. He did Annabelle. You know, so you could see some of those references. And now you have Marvel, you have Moon Knight. There was definitely a sci-fi horror thing going there. You know, you definitely see more of those influences now in comics, not just comics themselves, but comic stuff. Like, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, any of it's great, right? Like, I mean, I love horror, so yeah, bring it on. But I'd say you're even seeing it more. The books that are doing well in the comic world are mostly horror. You know, Something's Killing the Children would be the biggest hit of the last year, and that was a horror indie book, right?
Are you guys reading that?
No,
yeah,
How is that? I haven't, like, all I see is people selling it. So, like, because I run the comic group, I guess it must be really good because, like, it's shooting up there. But, like,
I think
nobody actually talks about the story.
Oh, pardon me. Sorry, I have been up. I teach, so I was up early.
Okay.
It's good. Everyone's young. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously, I think there's some better horror stuff out there. Like Sync is exceptional.
Yeah.
Like you brought that up earlier. But yeah, I mean, listen, any horror. So here's a fun take. 3 conventions: Comic-Cons, horror conventions, and book conventions. Right? In my opinion, from a sales perspective, from someone who writes horror, and to me, it goes horror conventions #1, book conventions, and then Comic-Cons. And the reason for that is that horror conventions, everyone is themselves. Like at Comic-Cons, you do dress up and everything like that, but like there's still a little bit of this trepidation,
snootiness, kind of little, not exactly elitism, but kind of, you know, a kind of a competition.
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah, right. But and it's funny because like someone will be wearing a Deadpool shirt, and then obviously the people of us who have read, you know, gone deep into these types of, they're like, you're right. But if someone's at a horror con and they're wearing an Exorcist shirt, you're just happy they saw The Exorcist, right? And everyone else is as well. So there's something about a horror convention that, for me, it's one of the most ingratiating experiences. You'll feel right at home almost immediately. So yeah, horror. I mean, that's so, you know, it never goes away, right? It always just changes. And the biggest thing is if we are allowing our society to explore and express our fears through art and communication, we're on the right track.
Okay, that's it to end the show. Okay, good. All right, all right. Let's end the show. Right? I mean, there's no one, right? That's it. Okay, roll the credits. Cut the check. We're done. All right, it was such a beautiful moment. I was like,
well, that's what it does, right? The credits just going. That's actually my buddy's bit. My buddy used to do that when he would end a conversation. He'd be like, "And she said, I don't know him." Credits, and just do the fingers. I thought it was the funniest thing, man.
No, we'll see if we can bring that back. So, Velvet, you're almost gone, right?
Yeah, my power's running low.
Okay, so just real quick, I'll cover a couple other news items just to announce them real quick. Tom King and Mitch Stradz re-team for Batman One Bad Day. Looks like they're going to do several of them. Next one up is going to be Riddler. That looks awesome. And League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, they're looking to reboot. And
more like the comic?
Don't know yet. I just saw that it's on the slate for a possible reboot. And the last item.
Speaking of Alan Moore.
What the fuck was it? Oh, DC. They're considering breaking off the DC Entertainment into its own department, kind of like Marvel and Disney is. So like Disney owns Marvel, but you know, giving their own creative heads, full control. So
Yeah, only 10 years too late. Like,
Yeah. They need to like pick a plan and just go with it.
It's basically like a copperhead still living at Leo's going, should we leave? Like, yeah, dipshit, you should have been gone when the burning ones were.
Leo, that's like the scene in Ghostbusters 2 when the Titanic shows up. You're like, well, better late than never. Okay. Well, all right, Marvel, as long as we get good stuff. But yes, I need to say something. I need to say this because I'll be honest, I am not a really big Superman fan. But I really enjoyed this. Like, as an origin story, this is Velvet, was this you? I don't know.
No, this was Leo. This is a Leo story. This is not a me story.
Leo, you do know things. Good.
Just a little bit.
This is definitely, I think, in my top 5 origin stories for Superman. I realized something. We're kind of stacking up Superman origins that we've read, because we read Superman for All Seasons, and now we read this. So we got to do Birthright and Man of Steel, and then that's.
Well, you guys also said you have not read what was it, American Alien?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I said this was fantastic. I mean, 6 issues, not a single issue felt wasted. Not a single moment felt trite or everything. It just flowed really well. It explained really well. It had its cool moments. This is great. So I'm good. You guys talk.
Isn't that the best when you truly feel sated by the size of the comic? Because so often I think we read these comics that are clearly padding, right? Like, it's meant to push a story. And I don't mean one-offs, right? Because those are the fill-in issues, but actual filler. Because one-offs can be great. Those are some of the best ones, right? But the filler stuff. So when you get a 6-issue series like that, and you're like, that's what it was supposed to be. Oh, that is the best.
Yeah.
Joker, you want to go first?
You're dying.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, honestly, I was kind of medium on this series. Superman for me is super vanilla. We're telling a story that we've said that, listen, it was done beautifully. It was a decent storyline. I think one of my favorite parts was actually at the end of one of the books where another ship lands, and we just sort of see the eyes of his dog Dogecoin, aka crypto.
Dogecoin.
So that was kind of one of my favorite parts, and even I don't know, Lex just felt super formulaic to me, and it didn't feel deep. But it was still fun, and it was still Superman. And I do like when they bring in the Legion of Superheroes, which makes me think of a former guest, Paul Kupperberg, because he was a big Superboy writer back in the day. But
such a nice guy.
I don't have a ton of stuff on this series. I know Leo really loves like the Superman feel good stories, so I got to roll with it. Not every story I'm going to read is going to be a dark, a dark trite passage of time. So this was just okay for me.
Okay. But Jeremy, what did you think?
I'm almost right there with Rich. I think the art is beautiful. Gary Frank, really, it really captures the emotions and stuff. But I also was just, I needed a real battle of some sort, and I got the message of it, and I appreciate that message, especially in this day and age. It doesn't matter where you come from or whatever. We all belong wherever we are.
Right.
But I just, it put me to sleep a few times. Like,
Oh,
but don't get me wrong. Like, it's well written. Like, there's good stuff going on there. Just, I don't know. Maybe I'm like with Rich. Like, I need something a little bit more darker, some more turmoil going on in life. I don't know.
Okay. And now, Leo, what do you think?
well, obviously, absolutely loved it. Gary Frank, drawing this in with an homage to Christopher Reeve was absolutely amazing. But for me, Superman, they always try to make him dark, and I love this where we're getting right down to the red and blue, just the blue Boy Scout type of thing. And the transformation, and I landed on this page here with the old woman, and obviously in Metropolis, just being a pain in the ass, just hating everybody, and then turning, her attitude totally changes at the end. This is just one person in the crowd, just Superman giving that just changing people, just by his own actions. Just by being good, giving people hope and everything. It's that's my Superman, is just gives hope. It's just pure goodness. Yeah.
I did.
That's
like
really sweet. I like that.
Yeah.
I did like the watching the Parasite and why can I
Metallo.
not? Yeah, Metallo being created and stuff like that. That was fun for me, but I just needed dark. But you're right, it is like you're watching Superman, like just by his own actions, like people's attitudes change and just
So I pulled something out that I wanted to show you guys because this is probably my prize of everything that I have.
usually when people say that, that scares something. Something scares me.
And it's actually I did a favor for someone. They had a whole comic book collection their dad did, and they didn't really know what they, he was like, I've got these boxes. It turned out being like, a wall of long boxes. So I went through them all. I ended up like sleeping there that night in the room with the long boxes, and I went through and priced everything for them and all
That
stuff.
sounds like heaven.
It was pretty fun. It was unfortunately a lot of like X-Force #1. But
hey, got the Deadpool card.
Yeah, you got the Deadpool card.
But the weird thing that he did have was he had a lot of this really cool art, and as a thank you, he actually gave me this, which is Kurt Swan original page.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that was, to me, was like, I mean, I would have done that 100 times for that. And it's just, so I wanted to bring that out and show you guys.
Totally.
Did you know
Because
that a lot of artists used to sell those pages for like insanely cheap? Like, I forget the guy's name that I met that helped a lot of these artists actually get the value for these things, but like Spencer or something. But like, I myself picked up a He-Man page from a guy at a small con. I forget, Pop Man. Mind you, it didn't have like He-Man on it or anything, but I only paid $40 for it, and I was just like, "Are you serious? Like $40 for like an original page?" I was like, "That's insane."
Unfortunately, and Jeremy, a lot of people didn't really know. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, that lack of knowledge left some people to, I hate to say it, to kind of be taken advantage of. Now, especially, like he said, Kurt Swan. I was like, yo,
Yeah,
like the DC. It's a DC great, which is later on when people realized how important it was. It was like, okay, yeah, you kind of need to give Kirby's estate back the pages that you have of his work because they deserve them. You know what I mean? And Jeremy, it always comes down to money, man. But that's funny. Then you have people who then charge too much. So it's just like, again, it's like what Ben was saying is there needs to be a better understanding of this is a fan who this matters to, who will spend some money. This is not somebody who's going to buy this just so he can flip it and collect the dough and leave you scot. This is someone who will treasure this.
Well, which then what that does too is unfortunately it double ruins things for fans because it takes it out of the fans' hands, but it also ups the market because what they're doing is obviously they're adding on top of that. So and every time that they do that, the market it just gets higher and higher. It's like that bit of inflation, right? So it's like then the people who do want it can't get things for that $40 price anymore, and then we now think of original art as something that's essentially unobtainable. But yeah, I mean,
well,
speaking of money, everyone go donate to the Kickstarter for Seance Room.
In the show notes up above or down below.
Yeah, totally.
Watching the show.
I just want to say one thing real quick about market. The comic market, it raises due to, popularity, and there's a realism behind it because there are so many fans. Unlike, we've seen the video game market, the retro game market, like value explode.
Oh, yeah.
And it's turning out that it's actually fake. It's they're finding out one of the grading companies was working with some of the larger sellers to manipulate the market.
I always am like, there's no checks and balances going on with those guys. Like a lot of people give PGX a lot of shit because back in the day they had something with some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book got swapped out, whatever. It was like 20 years ago. I've seen the same kind of things go on with CGC and CBCS, and because they're these like big names in the industry, people kind of just sweep it under the rug, and I'm just like, like I know with the toys, it's crazy. Like I want to get my Boba Fett graded encased because like I know it's like silly to have it sitting out in the box, and I want to preserve it forever. But like, dude, it's like a few $100s to get that done, and I'm just like, it's ridiculous. I'm like, I don't know, no thanks.
Right. I think it's again is you have to also realize that everything again, in an ideal world, everything would be free, but we're not living that world. Everything's going to cost money. So in order to do anything,
I don't want it to be free, but I want it to be reasonable.
No, but that's the problem is that again, it's always about what we think is reasonable is definitely not reasonable for someone else. And it's how the way of the world is. I mean, hell, back in the day, you could go to a convention, bring a stack of comics, and the creator would love it. Now it's all right, well, that's the comic. And I was like, cool. My bank account says no.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap things up here, but real quick, crowbars for Superman Secret Origin.
Well, Velvet said 3.85 because he thought he was going to be gone by now.
Yeah, so I thought I was going to bounce before we ended, but 3.85 again for the same reasons. It was an okay story. It was beautiful. And my one question is because Leo brought up that they very much made him look like Christopher Reeves. Now, is that a marketing tool or is that an homage or is it both?
Yeah, I think it was an homage. I'd have to look at when it came out and when he passed away.
Well, this was during the new fifth. This is the new.
Yeah, I think it was like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah, this takes place in New Earth. They said.
New Earth. Whatever happened?
I'm going with homage.
Homage.
Prime.
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm a 3.85, Drew, what are you calling this?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I enjoyed it. Again, I never really I give very rarely 5s. It's a solid read. As a Superman fan, you definitely enjoy it. Jeff Johns definitely ties in a lot of early origin things. There's some sweet moments. There are some wonderfully Superman-esque moments. A Lex Luthor lottery sounds terrifying to me. And, and honestly,
red line.
And honestly, long live Legion.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jeremy.
I'm going to go 3.5. The art was beautiful. The story was Drew said it best. If you're a Superman fan, you're gonna enjoy this, I think, because it really is a Superman story. Like, and it's a good Superman story, the good origin telling. So 3.5.
Okay. Ben, I know it's been a little while since you read it, but it seems like you are a Superman fan. What would you give it out of 5 crowbars?
Out of 5 crowbars, out of curiosity, what else got 5s before? Just so I know kind of where we are.
Ooh.
Do we remember? Or has it been too long?
Kingdom Come.
White Knight. I gave White Knight 5 crowbars.
I
Okay,
gave Kingdom Come 5 crowbars.
Okay. So realistically, so I love the story, and actually I love the way Leo put it too, because I love, like, lately I find myself watching a lot of videos, where it's like good things or people being good to each other, because I need that. And when they make him edgy, that's not who he is. He's the guy who you want to feel, like you said, he's a leader by action. Like, to me, it was like him and Aragorn had a lot in common from Lord of the Rings, where it's like, these are not people who sought greatness, but had greatness thrust upon them. And then just through action, and this story does a great job of that. So, but then again, with Kingdom Come at the top, it's like, all right, so, on a realistic level, I'm going to give it 3.75.
Okay.
And that's a good, like, I mean that in like pushing.
Hey, above a 3 is kind of good. Like,
yeah,
that's like above mediocre, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the lowest I think we've ever given a book was 2.75.
Oh, what was that?
I have no fucking idea. I know we did.
I should really start tracking these.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can do graphs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do charts and graphs, because that's your thing.
Pie charts.
There we go. Tableau if you're really geeky, but
anything to make
you got it in there,
right, Leo?
What's that?
Anything to make it coil around, snakes.
Yeah. There we go. Ben, were you laughing because of Tableau, or that was something else?
I do, and I appreciate you. You blitzkrieged it in. Just got
yeah. I switched departments at work, and they actually took my Tableau away, and I got to get it back.
Bastards.
I love Tableau.
Anyway, but it's my staple. It's my Tableau.
I looked back, and apparently I bought this graphic novel twice so far. I'm gonna give it a 4.8. I absolutely love it. Christopher Reeve is my Superman, and just having that homage. And I love the story as well. So 4.8 for me.
Okay. Leo, do you use CLZ or anything like that to track your? Okay, because I used to do that a lot too. I have like 4 copies of Swamp Thing #7, and I'm just like,
nice.
Yeah, the only thing is I haven't tracked anything I bought within during the pandemic, so I gotta.
Oh, I'm right on top of that.
I
click as soon as it comes in. I'm like, click CLZ.
Man, you guys are so ahead of me. I just have an Excel sheet. I just put everything in.
I bought the CLZ thing. Like, I paid, I think it was like $15 for the lifetime thing or something like that.
And you can scan it in. You can scan.
Yeah.
I love that
with the barcode. You just, like, when I was first doing it, oh my god, that was such a lifesaver.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm old school. It's whatever. But all right, so Leo, are we doing this where we say who we are, what we do, and links?
Yeah. Just want to remind everybody, definitely check out in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, to check out the Kickstarter for Seance Room Volume 2. It has 27 days to go, so definitely go support Ben. We love supporting indie artists and local guys as well, so definitely.
Give him some money.
Yes.
Hell yeah. And like I said, links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Seance Room Volume 2. And where can they get the first part of Séance Room?
You can get it in the Kickstarter. There is a tier where you can add on the original graphic novel. So I would do that. So then you
can also get it remarked and everything. There's so
right.
many wonderful tiers.
So if you are looking to do that, that's the way to do it right now. But if you have to be that way about it, it is on Amazon, and it is through SourcePoint's website.
Don't be that way.
More importantly, to come to my Instagram, which is at Mr. Ben AU MRBEN AU, and just send me a message and we'll talk about it. But guys, I want to, from a sincere place, say thank you for a really enjoyable conversation that I would have happily had, even off the podcast. I felt like this was just like hanging out with you guys. It was great.
Well, awesome. Glad you enjoyed it. We love nerding out every Tuesday night on the Splash Pages.
Yeah. Ben, you're welcome to join us anytime you want. We love chatting with you, and this was definitely a very enjoyable evening. I was going to say afternoon, but so Instagram, that's your place of choice that you like people to interact with you.
Yeah, for sure. And I answer back everything, everyone. And just go kill some snakes, guys. Kill some snakes. There's too many. They think they own this world.
Oh yeah.
Or just call Leo. He's a murderer.
Yeah, there's actually more to the story, but I won't say it right now.
Oh, good God.
Good time, Leo.
This is hour 6.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I just want to say this real quick. How I found out that there was an infestation. I heard a crash in the back. So I go into the back room. There's these 2 huge snakes mating, and they're thrashing all about. Oh my God, that
snake
was
porn.
Yeah.
Not only is he a snake killer, he's a snake voyeur.
Oh, yeah. Well, Ben, speaking of infestations, I keep reading about Boston is having a real big problem with rats. Are you having any problems with rats?
So you're from New York, right?
Originally, yes.
Originally, are you referring to Red Sox fans or the actual creatures?
Oh, damn.
No, I'm literally talking about in Boston. I keep reading these articles. That,
actually,
there's all these rat infestations. Rats are taking over apartment buildings and going over people's necks all the time, which become unusable.
No, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as they want. Like, obviously, it's more fun to think that the city is going to crumble underneath itself because of the rat, But I mean, it's a city, right? So there's going to be rats everywhere. Let's say, what's the real problem with Boston? I would say it's the
streets.
The streets. I'd say it's the college kids, because now everything is about, I'd say, $1,000 more expensive per month.
Yeah.
Because of all the college kids are now, it's Boston's a weird place, man. Boston's a place where it's got so much history and yet is the most expensive place in the entire, I think per capita, it's worse than New York. It's just awful. And it's a weird place, man. If you guys, it's a weird place. I grew up. Yeah,
everything's a small fortune. It's $600,000 to get anything decent.
Yeah.
And that's weird. Forget it. By you're looking at $1.2 million for like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Dude,
I
saw the other day a single bedroom apartment, even out my way out Western Mass, was like $1,200. I was like, what? How do people afford that? I just.
They don't write comics for a living.
Yeah.
We have a 1-bedroom apartment. It's almost $1,700 a month. It goes up every year.
Goddamn rich.
Yeah, it's interesting. Boston's an interesting place. It is one of those places too where people are like, "Oh, cool, you live in Boston?" And they're like, I was born here, so I stayed in. And actually, I would love at some point to do a comic, a graphic novel, sort of about like how this place has changed. I'll leave on this. If you ever really want to know about Boston, if you truly want to get to the essence, the heart of what Boston is in 2022, go back and watch the episode where the Simpsons moved to Boston. And there's a part of it where Bart is so excited to be a townie, and he's like, I'm going to get in with I'm going to become like a underground, Irish mob and Black Mass. Whitey Bulger, and he goes to this, and there's a truck, and the people are loading the truck at night in the back alley, and he's like, all right, this is my chance. And he gets up closer, and they're MIT students, and they're loading up textbooks. So I mean, that's it's a very funny episode, but it's very true. So yeah, no, don't worry, rats I think we're okay with rats right now.
All right, so you can still get your beautiful chocolates in Cambridge and do what you got to do.
Yes, dude, yeah.
Awesome. Jar, did you give your deets? Your
No, we are in the process of revamping, but we are still at this point called Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction. Please visit us on Facebook. We are one of the most trusted Facebook buy, sell, trade pages, and yeah, and go check out Ben's Kickstarter.
Awesome. And it looks like
we killed Drew.
Yeah. No.
Drew Pillow.
We lost Velvet. So
yeah, Velvet.
Drew's gone mad.
Yep. Hello. Hi. So when I'm not somehow being a pillow, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Ghostbusterman1984. I also do things with Screen Rant, where I write articles and
I love your articles.
And also, I'm here every Tuesday, where these guys have yet to kick me off the show, despite the fact that I talk too much, probably swear too much, and mock them on a daily basis. I'm generally a pretty nice guy, but as you can tell, it's past my bedtime, and I have lost my goddamn shit. So point being is, end the show.
Yeah, I know we ran a little late. So yeah, for me, just Google Leo Bahan. You'll find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not gonna say which is which, but follow these awesome people. And Velvet Joker disappeared. His battery must have died. You can find him over on Facebook as Bagel Bar. And also Velvet Joker 21. And also, I think you can find him as Ghostbuster Man 1984. But yeah, I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network and growing. We're in talks with about 5 new shows to join the network. So a lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff and some awesome stuff coming this year. And with that, we'll catch you guys later.
Good. End the show. Bye.